Former UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan has died. The international diplomat is understood to have died this morning in Switzerland after a short illness. He was 80 years old. Annan served as the UN Secretary-General between 1997 to 2006. He also chaired a group of elders set up by former President Nelson Mandela.
From budget officer to one of the world's most renowned diplomats, Kofi Annan was born in Ghana to an aristocratic family. He joined the United Nations family after studying economics in Geneva. The career diplomat headed up UN Human Resources and then its budget office before being appointed peacekeeping chief in 1993. Annan catapulted to the top UN job 4 years later, making him the first Secretary-General to rise from within the UN as well as from sub-Saharan Africa. He led the UN through the divisive years of the Iraq War and the trauma of the September 11 attacks.
This is a tragic and a very sad day for us all. Kofi was a very special person to many people, a mentor, gave us such inspiration. And he lived his life with the core values of the UN. So today, I think people are reeling. For us, it's really quite surreal. He was, alive and walking that track in Johannesburg in Zimbabwe only a week ago, and I think we're all very shocked.
Does it better?
The quiet-spoken Annan was credited for raising the United Nations profile during his two-term tenure from January 1997 to December 2006.
To receive the gold medal and the diploma.
And was awarded the 2001 Nobel Peace Prize. Annan had a special responsibility to Africa, working tirelessly on the continent.
It's a great loss. He was an outstanding diplomat, outstanding leader, and he was a role model for many people on the continent. He was a diplomat extraordinaire, and as Secretary-General of the United Nations, he flew the flag of peace. He flew the flag of collaboration throughout the world as he dealt with very difficult and challenging problems. We were filled with pride to see an African leader dealing with world problems and finding solutions for them.
Advocate Domisa Nzebeza says he was privileged to have been appointed by Annan in an attempt to address the Darfur conflict.
What struck me with him was the humility. Here I was sitting across the table, the United Nations Secretary-General, a person who must have wined and dined and met and talked and interviewed world leaders. And here was I, a young lawyer from Kala, not even from South Africa, small town in the Bundus in Kala. In the corridors of the UN, sitting across a man who was persuading me to accept a position that I believe was going to change the course of what happened in Darfur.
In his ancestral land, Ghana, a week-long period of mourning has been declared. The current president described Annan as a believer in Ghana. After his decade at the UN, Annan continued to work on peace across the world, joining the Elders, a group started by Nelson Mandela, bringing together former world leaders to strive together for peace and human rights. The global statesman will be remembered on every corner of the world for his commitment to peace in Africa and the globe as a whole. Hasina Gori, SABC News.